anhu. Because if you go back, it's, I think we might need about, in fact, some time ago I gave a detailed lecture on this. It was about 3 hours, from the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam and how the masjid, was built and conquered and it was lost and things like that. Nonetheless, in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came on this journey of Mi'raj. Thereafter he passed on. Thereafter Sayyidina Abu Bakr, he was the first Khalif. Thereafter Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu ardah. So there was a battle that had taken place at the time. And who was the Amir of this? Who was the leader? Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So when he came, and they managed to take over, they managed to, they were victorious in this particular battle. So Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he came to take the keys of Masjid Aqsa from the patriarch of that time. His name was Sufranus. He was a Christian. So Sufranus, he told Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah, I am prepared to hand the keys of Jerusalem, to the Muslims, not to you, but I'm prepared to give it, to your leader, Umar bin Khattab. So where was Umar at that time? Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he wasn't in Madinatul Munawwara. So nonetheless, Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he sends a letter to Umar bin Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu that the patriarch Sufranus, he wants to meet you and hand over the keys of Palestine to you. So Umar bin Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, according to what the Mu'arrikhin and the historians have written, he mounted on his mule and he had a servant with him. So 2 people and 1 mule. And he rode all the way. And when he came to Jabal Mukabbir, in fact, when we went to Jabal Zaytun, we showed you where that mountain is. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he came to that mountain and he saw the land of Masjid Aqsa. Subhanallah. And he started praising Allah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And he made takbir. He praised the Almighty Allah. Nonetheless, Umar bin Khattab, when he came and he met Sufranus, was the patriarch, of Jerusalem. So Sufranus, he took Umar on a guided tour. And he took him around this entire compound like we are walking today. And he showed him the place of Solomon, the tomb of Solomon. And he showed him various different places. And then it was the time for Salatul Dhuhr. So they went, and inshallah we will show you just now later on when we go. He takes him into this church. And he tells Omar that why don't you pray in the church? So Omar, what he did, he picked up a stone and he threw it outside. And he told Sufranus, if I pray in your church, down the line my people will lay claim to this church. And at that time, Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he wrote a covenant. He said that we will coexist with the other faiths. With the Christians, we will live in harmony. I mean, today Muslims can't live in harmony. It's a sad reality. At that time, Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when we see Masjid Umar, it's there on the plaque. The covenant that he, whatever he mentioned at that time, he said that a Muslim should not touch this. It will belong to the Christians. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he gave the keys of that particular church. He gave it to a family that was living in Jerusalem, a Muslim family. Up to this day, the keys of the church are still in the hands of that family. So they open the church and they close the church and they live in harmony, with the Muslims. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, like I told you, he picked up a stone and he threw it. Where the stone landed, he went and he read Salah at that particular spot. And that is the spot where there was a masjid called Masjid Umar that was built. And Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, the great Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, may Allah, elevate his status. He was a great man. When he came in the month of Ramadan, that is where he sat in I'tikaf, where Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, had performed, that salah. And inshallah we will see if it is still there. I saw this some years ago. When he sat in I'tikaf, there were some engravings of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. It was preserved, from that time. I saw it some years ago. So inshallah if it is there, we will see it. So that masjid is called the Masjid of Umar. So nonetheless, after Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, after reading the Salatul Dhuhr, thereafter there was a person who was with him. His name was Ka'b al-Ahbar. He was a Jewish rabbi. Ka'b al-Ahbar was a Jewish rabbi who accepted Islam in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu told Ka'b al-Ahbar that you are familiar with this area, take me around. So Umar said that where should we build a masjid? So Ka'b al-Ahbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he told Umar bin Khattab that where do you build a masjid? You see where the Dome of the Rock is? Before the stairs at the bottom there. He told Umar that you build the masjid there. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, you are talking to me like how the Jews are talking. He said that you are now a Muslim. And he said that we will not build the masjid behind the Dome of the Rock, but we will build it in front of the Dome of the Rock. And then Umar radiallahu ta'ala asked him that where is the rock that the Nabi of Allah stood upon when he went on Mi'raj? So this was a dump. You know where we are standing now. You know the Quran says